Northeast Tonight, brought to you by Oil India Limited, conquering newer horizons.
Hello and welcome to Northeast Tonight, the show that decodes the region. The COVID-19 pandemic, viewers, has almost crippled the world, impacting all sectors of trade, business and entertainment, among others, making people stay at home and forget about travel, no one knows for how long. Millions of jobs in the global tourism industry could be lost due to the novel coronavirus pandemic, which has impacted travel like no other event in history. As much as 96% of all worldwide destinations have introduced travel restrictions in response to the outbreak, according to the World Tourism Organization, the United Nations Specialized Agency for Tourism. Northeast India is no exception. We are focusing tonight on the future of the tourism industry in this region of 8 states, because tourism is among the few sectors in the Northeast that was looking up with the potential to provide business to entrepreneurs and jobs to both skilled and unskilled youth. Most of the businesses in the region's tourism sector are run by first-generation entrepreneurs and can be regarded as startups on a MSME scale. Now, the sector is badly hit, with tour operators, hoteliers and restaurateurs having no clue as to how they would take care of their monthly EMIs, pay salaries to their staff, or even survive. Will the center and the state governments in the region come to their rescue? Will the government introduce a moratorium on loan repayment for 6 to 9 months to give the tourism sector some relief? Will the government provide soft tourism loans at a nominal interest so that staff salaries can be taken care of? Will the government exempt the GST or reduce it to half? Remember, viewers, in Assam alone, 5 lakh people are directly or indirectly employed in the tourism sector. To discuss the crisis and a possible recovery plan, I am joined from New Delhi by Mr. Pranab Sarkar, President of the Indian Association of Tour Operators. In Shillong, I have Mr. Larsing Ming Saoyan, hotelier and entrepreneur. At the studios with me is Sanjay Thakur, tour operator and promoter of East India Travel Company, and Mr. Ranjit Das from the Tour Operators Association of Assam. And I'm also joined from Guwahati by Mr. Trideep Sharma, a well-known hotelier. Gentlemen, welcome to Northeast Tonight. Let me go straight to New Delhi to Mr. Pranab Sarkar, the President of the Indian Association of Tour Operators. Mr. Pranab Sarkar, welcome. The question is, the world has been hit, India has been hit. We don't know for how long. What kind of a response would you like from the government, both at the center as well as in the states?
Good evening, all listeners. Thank you very much for inviting me at this forum. And as at the center, we are almost daily in touch with the central government, with some of the other ministries. We have approached our nodal ministry to Ministry of Tourism, Government of India. We have approached Ministry of Commerce. We are also in touch with Ministry of Home Affairs, and on Monday we will be in touch with Niti Aayog. The situation is very, very grim. As you rightly mentioned, that this industry is very badly suffering. And the day it was declared as pandemic, the international tourist visas were stopped by Indian government to stop the spreading of this COVID-19. And it is for the safeguard of our countrymen. The international flights and domestic flights are also being stopped. So with this, our business came to a standstill. And with zero billing, no business in hand, how we can pay the salaries of our staff? As you rightly mentioned, that most of the entrepreneurs are from the private sector, and it is not no difference whether it is northeast, south of India, central India, or all over India. It is the same. Like northeast is coming up for last 10 years. What we are looking at that it is growing day by day, and this hit is going to be a very bad blow because tour operators they don't have much cash flow in their hand. If the business is running, they have the cash flow. If business is not running, there is no cash to be disbursed as salaries on other expenditures. There are static expenditures in hand, whether it is rental, whether it is insurance,
Right.
provident fund, ESI. These are the statutory expenses continues to be in the hands of the tour operator and hoteliers. But where
Yeah.
is the flow to come in? There is no question of coming flow. So we have approached the central government with
Okay, we'll talk about
a
that, Mr. Pranab Sarkar. We'll talk
bailout
about,
package.
Mr.
Yeah.
Pranab Sarkar, we'll talk about all that you have, requested the government. But the fact
Yeah.
remains that to begin with, this is a very critical time for the tourism sector in the country. We'll not go into the tourism sector in the world. Let's focus on India and particularly the northeast of India. Yes, this is a grave crisis. Larsing Ming, in your entire career as a hotelier, and someone who is very closely associated with the tourism sector, have you ever come across any situation like this where the industry is almost crippled? That is the word.
You know, I don't think none of us expected any, a crisis to the scale and nature of what we're seeing at the moment. I mean, we in the Northeast, we are used to, having a little bouts of social, political instability from time to time.
Yeah.
As we are all aware, even in December this year, which was peak season, we had, agitations around the anti-car and cab movements. But something of this sort is totally unprecedented and unimaginable, really. So really, Wasbir, at this point of time, I think we are in the middle of a huge financial crisis. Of course, the immediate crisis is of that of health, but the moment we can get out of it, I think the next crisis that is going to face the industry and the economy as a whole is the financial crisis. And
all right.
Yes, there's a lot
The
of
crisis is
lot
real.
of thinking to be done on how to get out of this.
How to get out, we are good. That is why we are having this discussion. Let's discuss how to get out. Sanjay Thakur, you are a tour operator. Now, question is, we all, there is no need to discuss about the crisis because we know that the crisis is absolutely real. Now, what are some of the, you must have the industry as a whole, whether it is the hoteliers, whether it is the tour operators, you must have got together, the restaurateurs, you must have got together and you have applied your mind, you have already, approached the state government, at least in Assam, you people have approached. Now, what is your recovery plan? 3-4 points, very quickly, let's set the tone for the discussion and then we'll go forward.
Well, good evening, everyone. Like everybody was saying about this crisis, we have not seen this before, it was not expected. So I'll not go into all that. Like Wasbir has asked me, what could be the recovery plan? See, before talking about recovery, we have to think about the survival. And for survival, we need the government hand-holding. We need at least, to my mind, we need at least two very crucial, aspects that I want to touch upon. One is about a soft loan from the government, long-term soft loans, and the other aspect is the EMIs that we have already availed loans from the banks, and 3 months moratorium, which the government has announced, is welcome. But at the same time, I believe that is not enough because after June, we are staring at a very bleak future. We do not know when it's going to end. So it has to be moratorium for EMIs has to be at least till December 2020, if not up to March 2021. And that and the soft loan are the survival for the survival. And as you asked me about the revival package, you know, after we survive, only then we can.
So very interesting
right.
point that you know, Sanjay has made, that you first survive and then talk about the revival. You know, Ranjit Das, you know, now let's start step one. That is very rightly pointed out by Sanjay, that you first have to survive and then you can talk about rejuvenating and reviving the whole industry full scale. Now, what is the survival strategy? Is it suppose the government does not help, then what happens? Because yes, in this kind of a situation, we are all expecting help from the government, definitely. As I have also said, and Sanjay has said, that there has to be soft loans, moratorium on EMIs, etc., etc. Now, what are your thoughts? What is your survival strategy?
Thank you, Wasbir, for giving us this platform. The tour operators needed this platform because there are huge challenges in front of us. So, I mean, the key word now is, of course, as we all said, about survival and revival. So those are the two key words. So survival is very important, definitely. We need hand-holding from the government. And for that, we need a lot of support in terms of statutory and non-statutory payments that we have, so fixed costs that we have. So those need to be auto-renewed, or a moratorium of at least 1 year. Because revival, we are not too sure, because we don't have a recovery timeline as such as of now.
Yeah.
But we hope that it will be maybe sometime in October, November, we may see some semblance of tourism activity beginning to happen. So we need at least a 1 year period of moratorium so that we get some breathing space. And we need hand-holding from the government, because as you said, we are first-generation entrepreneurs, small in size. We may not have very large cash reserves set aside as emergency corpus. So these are the things. We need hand-holding, and we need some measures to be taken by the government.
Okay, hand-holding. This is the terminology I have been hearing. That means the government has to chip in at this point in time. Let me go quickly to Tridib Sharma. Tridib Sharma, a well-known hotelier. You also run resorts apart from hotels. Tridib Sharma, you know, this is a critical time, and your fellow panelists in this discussion today are saying that government has to chip in to a large scale. But as an immediate measure, how to survive? You know, as an immediate measure, in some other cities, major cities around the world, the takeaways, nobody can go to a restaurant, but takeaways are allowed. Some kind of activity is going on. You know, so what are some of your suggestions, very quickly?
Hi, Mr. Wasbir. Good evening. As you know, the hotel industry is the worst affected this season, starting the car movement in December to the COVID-19 pandemic. The loss that we have sustained is huge. My Hotel and Restaurant Association of Assam has made a rough estimate and found that the total in this sector during the period is more than 1,000 crores.
Can you?
So as you know, employs a huge workforce. So first, till the hotels and restaurants are closed, they pay out. First, they have to be opened. And only after they are opened, the next will come into being. My suggestion is that restaurants and bars should be opened with strict order of maintaining hygiene, social and physical distancing, and once the restaurants open, the problem, lot of problems will get solved. And my
Tridib Sharma, hold on. I think we have to fix that audio. We'll have to fix that. Tridib Sharma, please hold on. Sorry to interrupt you. We'll have to fix that audio. If you can hear me, can you tell me what is the estimated loss in Assam? I'll go to Mr. Pranab Sarkar for an overall countrywide loss. But what is the estimated loss in Assam? Do you have a figure? Tridib Sharma.
Yes, the total estimate in Assam for the period of April.
I believe you cannot hear me.
I cannot hear you. Sorry, we have to cut
Yeah,
him right
I can
now.
hear
Fix
you,
the.
but
I'll ask my producers to fix the audio. Otherwise, we cannot continue with Tridip Sharma. Now, Mr. Pranab Sarkar, do you have an overall, Mr. Pranab Sarkar, do you have an overall all India figure of the estimated loss to the sector? And first of all, can you tell when we say the tourism sector, can you tell my viewers what are the major heads that are included? The tour operators, the hotels, the restaurants, the destinations, and what else?
The aviation is also part of it. Airlines.
Yeah,
You
carry
can
on.
hear me? Yeah. So with the inclusion of the hospitality sector, that is hotels, restaurants, tour operators, guides, aviation sector, all together it is estimated that approximately 4 crore jobs are at stake. And as far as the financial losses are estimated are about 5 lakh crore is the estimated loss expecting. As you know, there is no possibility of revival of this tourism in the immediate future. We do not know how long it's going to take, because in absence of vaccination, this travel industry may not move forward, because everything is standstill at the moment. And the requirement of the vaccination certificate will be the next generation travel formula, where all visas will be granted on the receipt of the COVID-19 vaccination certificate. Without that, no airline will be giving you seat, no country will be giving you visas. So therefore, we exactly do not know how long this is going to prolong in our country or the world, that tourism may start. It will take about, for me, at least if it is 6 months to get a vaccination ready, it will take another 6 months in practice. But millions of people cannot get vaccination within 6 months. So it will go around about 18 months. So for us, the tourism revival will start after 18 months. Whatever moratorium or whatever package we are looking for, it is not going to help within 6 to 12 months. It has to go beyond that. So that is the plus one point agenda one must take it.
Mr.
That
Pranab
whatever
Sarkar, Mr. Pranab Sarkar, I'm sure, at the national level, you must have been in touch with the government of India. Now, what are the indications that you are getting from the government of India as far as helping this sector is concerned?
You see, we have in fact three directions. Like one is the first is the survival. For survival, we need a bailout package from the government. Then only we can think of our revival, and after that we have to thrive on the whole issue. So the marketing will take place. But at the moment is the question is the survival, and for that survival, our top agenda is that we should get the salary pay from the government, some percentage that they can get the salaries of each staff, so that there is no job layoffs. Because today's date, tour operators themselves cannot run for 5 to 10 months or 12 months by paying salaries from their pocket. As I said, the cash crunch is there. It is not possible.
Right.
And second option is that they should get at least 10 years long-term interest-free loan. That is most important, because if any subsidy to be given by the ministries, then interest should be subsidized, and we should get the loan, so that we don't retrench people, but we keep on paying salaries. But we are not sure how long we have to continue with this kind of situation. Therefore,
Absolutely.
this is very, very important.
Right.
That
So these are,
first part and second part has to be from the government side. Other than it is a very difficult for the survival.
Very difficult indeed. Very difficult indeed. Before coming to the studio and going to Tridip Sharma, let me go to Larsing Ming in Shillong. Larsing, the entire northeastern region, 8 states, 45 million people, and we can say that it is almost a green zone, because we have only about 25 COVID positive cases, 25 active COVID cases as of today. But even then, that does not help, because you cannot open the doors to visitors. So your survival remains on bailout from the government, isn't it?
Yes, in fact, this is going to be a long haul, and until the entire pandemic is controlled, until the vaccines are developed and a cure is found, I think we have to accept the fact that tourism is really going to be in the back seat, and we're going to be suffering for a very, very long time. And as has been mentioned already, we can't anticipate how long this is going to take. Tourism, in fact, is an industry, is a sector which is the first to be hit by this pandemic. And once this pandemic is over, it is also going to be the sector that's going to be the last to really recover. So keeping these things in mind, I think the only way in which this industry can survive is if the government can come and intervene and provide a bailout package.
Okay.
And,
Now,
without a bailout package, I foresee, great difficulties for the
Absolutely.
fragile
Now,
tourism industry in the region.
Right, Larsing, right. Before coming to the studio, Tridip Sharma, if you can hear me now, I hope the line is slightly better. Let's hope for the best. Tridip Sharma, if you can hear me, the question is, the tourism industry is such an industry which cannot diversify. For example, now some of the automobile companies around the world, including India, are making ventilators, making health equipments, making healthcare equipments. They're making hand sanitizers as well. Take the case of Mahindra, for example, they're making hand sanitizers. Some of the automobile companies are making ventilators and selling them. Now, but do you have a unique idea where the tourism sector can diversify? Or you are at the mercy of the state, mercy of the government? Tridip.
Well, Mr. Wasbir, property like me, the Brahmaputra Gandhuri Resort, where we have enough of land, I have diversified into cultivation now. I started cultivating papaya and a lot of other horticulture products. For hotels which do not have the land, I think they are at the mercy of the government. There is no way out.
So this is a very peculiar situation, Sanjay Thakur. You are absolutely, you see, Tridip is a little bit lucky because he has a resort spread over a vast tract of land. So he is into horticulture and cultivation. I think Larsing also will be in this, perhaps in a slightly better position because, those people who are only into this particular business, there is almost those people who are using this tourism sector as a startup. Somebody is having a tour operator, having a travel agency, somebody is having a standalone hotel. So these people are absolutely difficult times. So what is the way ahead other than the government, as Mr. Pranab Sarkar has very rightly articulated, very nicely he has put it, that you have to get a 10-year long moratorium on loan. That will be the only trick for survival. Sanjay.
Well, yes, I fully agree with Mr. Sarkar, what he has said, because I can give you my own example. I am a tour operator. I do not own a hotel. So where do I go? It has to be a help from the government, because as we have been talking about it, there is no end to it. We do not know when it's going to end. So there has to be some sort of a bailout package. I do not see any other way out for tour operators like
bailout package.
Yeah.
So no other way out except for a bailout package.
As things stand today.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Ranjit, you see, what is the situation in Assam? What is the situation in Assam? What is the, I will go with that question to Tridip Sharma because I could not hear. He was giving me an estimated loss. Tridip, if you can hear me before going to Ranjit. Sorry? Okay, I can't understand why. But Ranjit, tell me, do you have an estimate of the loss? How many jobs are at stake as far as Assam is concerned? What is the scenario? Can you give me an overview of the situation in Assam, where about 5 lakh people, as I've said, are directly or indirectly involved in this business?
Well, actually, Tour Operators Association of Assam has about 100 members. So directly, I think we would be affecting about 2 lakh from the directly affecting, because there are the Jeep Safari drivers, the guides, and our own guides. So if you take that, it's about 2 lakhs. So having said that, there is something that we have to look into, because tourism cannot start without the hospitality sector opening. So once the hospitality sector opens, there will be some behavioral changes amongst the tourists. They may like to not travel in big groups, maybe some for small families maybe travel, but they'll not go for long distances, maybe short travels, weekend destinations. So in that sense, within Assam or within the northeast region, we can kickstart some sort of tourism.
So that will be basically domestic. You're talking about domestic tourists.
Yes, within the state or within the region. Since we have a huge green zone now, I think once the hospitality sector starts, we can also, we can see some semblance of tourism activity starting post maybe October, November.
Post October, November. Now, Mr. Pranab Sarkar, even you said that even since the aviation sector is also part of this industry, now with this social distancing thing becoming the new normal, now if you have to keep your middle seat vacant when you are traveling in an airplane, I assume the cost of the ticket is also, air ticket is also going to go up. So that will automatically discourage people from traveling. You have to spend much more money in travel. So will it be economic for the airline sector? Then, apart from the fear factor will be there in the minds of the people?
You are absolutely right, because after COVID, post-COVID, the traveling scenario will be absolutely changed. Because airline, if in case the vaccination is not come, that means one seat vacant in the airplane, so your ticket cost is going to go up.
Yeah.
And when you are traveling on the ground, 1 or 2 person in a taxi, 10 to 12 people in a bus, so it is going to cost escalation for all the package tours, all the places, all the monuments you will be restricted to visit. So there will be a big change in the traveling pattern. Therefore, it is not going to be easy for the holiday makers to take holiday packages very soon. The scenario is here that only individual travelers and the corporate travelers, they will be the first to come out. Holiday package traveler will come the last. Therefore, after, whether it is lockdown or after lockdown or post-COVID, there will be a change in travel trend in
absolutely.
our world.
Another thing, Mr. Pranab Sarkar, another thing, the hotels also have to invest a lot of money in sanitizing place and maintaining extra hygiene. Which
yes, I
was not
just give you the briefing about the hoteliers, what they are doing, that they are going to do auto check-in by mobile app check-in and less number of people to come out. And all the rooms will be sanitized before check-in, after check-in. So there will be a lot of changes, and no food will be served in the restaurants. It will be served at your doorstep. You have to come out and take it inside. So lot of restrictions, lot of changes are going to happen in hotels also. Breakfast, you cannot have breakfast in the restaurant. There will be packed breakfast ready. You come between 7 to 9. You have to pick up your packed breakfast and go like that.
Absolutely, Pranab Sarkar. Larsing Ming, I'll have to go for a break very quickly. You're a hotelier. I think, your hotel staying experience is going to, undergo a sea change, if I may use the word. Very briefly, Larsing.
Sorry, Wasbir, I didn't get you.
No, as Mr. Pranab Sarkar was saying, hotel experience will also undergo tremendous changes. You have to sanitize your rooms. There may be auto check-in. You may get your dinner and lunch on your doorstep. You may have to take it inside yourself. A lot of things.
No, yes, of course, as has already been mentioned, I think from the Federation of Hotel and Restaurants Association of India as well, there's been a guideline and suggestions given on the new norms for hospitality, starting from the fact that buffets for breakfasts may no longer be the norm. As you've mentioned, room service onto the door. and a lot of sanitization and sanitizing and a lot of hygiene measures are going to change.
So
I
that
mean,
but
hotels are going to
Lars
also have
Singh,
to
that will
maintain certain
that will
protocols
cost extra
similar
money,
to-
isn't it? Lars Singh, that will cost extra money, isn't it? That'll cost extra money.
See, extra money, that is something that that we can talk about once the business comes back. As of now, we're in a situation where the industry is trying to figure out how do we survive. Where
No,
is the
extra
super
money in
gonna
the
come
sense
from?
not from the
You know,
customers to the
moment,
management of the hotels. Extra money to the management, you have to be spent by the management, by the hotel owners.
Yes, of course, but I'm sure as people in the hospitality industry, we are ready to go and we're ready to go an extra mile for the sake of health and the security of all our guests as well as employees. That is a foregone conclusion. But before we get there, I mean, the issues at hand are really how does this industry survive? How do we get what sort of measures can be taken by the government to bail out the industry?
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
in this regard, I just had a few thoughts which I wanted to share. That perhaps this industry is going to suffer for a minimum of 9 to 12 months. We don't know when we can really come back to even a semblance of normalcy. And therefore, I think there is a need for some sort of a bailout package to come in.
Okay.
And the question there is, what kind of bailout packages can the government really give this industry? So one of the things which I wanted to kind of maybe express was, at least for the last financial year, whatever GST that the industry has paid out, could that be given back to these various enterprises in order to allow them to sustain this period? Because in that way, everyone gets what they proportionately deserve. So a GST payback of the last financial year, can something of that sort be done by the government?
Okay, we'll expand.
And various other measures
Right,
is what
right.
we as an industry are hoping for.
We will expand on that. We'll elaborate on that, whether the government can give a loan repayment moratorium, pay back the GST that the organizations and the hotels industry, that the industry has already paid to the government. Can it be paid back to them? And these are some of the suggestions coming. We'll go for a short break. Viewers, don't go away. I'll be right back. Welcome back. Let me go to Tridip Sharma. Tridip, so this is a critical situation for the industry. Diversification is not possible. Everything depends on the government. Now, Lars Singh was suggesting, that government can think of paying back the GST. Government can think of loan moratorium. Now, first of all, I want to once again hear from you the estimated loss figure in Assam. Start with that.
When you talk of the loss of the hotel, restaurant and the eatery sector in the organized sector in Assam alone, the total loss comes to around 3,000 crores. The total turnover on a single day is 225 crores. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the total loss is 3,000 crores up to 30th of April from December first week.
Okay, so this is a huge figure. December first week.
It's a huge figure, yeah.
December to 31st of March, December, January, February, March. So this in 4 months, the loss in Assam alone is estimated at 3,000 crore. So what does it indicate?
Up to 30th of April.
Sorry?
Up to 30th of April, 5 months.
Up to 30th of April, sorry. 30th of April in 5 months. So what are some of your suggestions now? Tridip.
The first thing is we have to understand, the government has to understand that this sector is the highest revenue generating sector for the government. We pay the maximum tax. So under any case, the government has to bail us out. Secondly, we employ the maximum number of people. As you said, more than 5 lakh people depend on us for bread and butter. The government has to bail us out. Now, how to bail us out? See, in a lot of things I have seen that the government doesn't have to pay us. They just do not have to disturb us. For example, electricity bill. We, out of a contracted load of 500 kVA, we are consuming just 5 kVA as of now during the lockdown. But we are billed load security for the entire amount.
But
the entire amount is being charged to us. And
let me stop you. Let me stop you. Today I was present in the meeting that the Chief Minister of Assam held with the editors. I was present in that meeting. In that meeting, the Health Minister, Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, said that the government has decided to give relief to the fixed electricity charge. Electricity fixed charge will be waived for at least 2 to 3 months. That is the plan of the Assam government that I think it has already been announced by now as I have come into the studio. Tridip, carry on.
Can I add up?
Yes.
Yeah, regarding government levy, like day before yesterday, one of the hotels was approached by officials of the Guwahati Municipality Corporation and he was forced to pay property tax amounting to 6 lakhs. If this amount would have been deferred, then the property would have survived. Now paying 6 lakhs for property tax to the GMC.
Okay, all right, all right. But I'm absolutely. I'm coming to you, Mr. Pranab Sarkar, but Ranjit Das, the Guwahati Municipal Corporation coming to take the property tax in this day and time. Is it really surprising?
Yes, it is, because that's what we have been telling. Like, there should be auto renewal. That is what we want. At least till 31st of March 2021. So those are the things that we want, so that our fixed cost, our working capital is saved, and we can at least go through see through that lean season that we have in front of us.
What does it indicate? Sanjay Thakur, what does it indicate? GMC suddenly landing up, that Reddy was saying, give this example, that GMC, Guwahati Municipal Corporation, people coming and snatching almost the property tax. Yes, property tax may be due. Legally they can do it. But is this the time to do it? That is my question.
No, see, this is not the time to do it, that is for sure. All the departments, must come together. There has to be some sort of a coordination. Tourism must be treated as an industry which employs so many people, and you just cannot discard us and say that you give us property tax, you give us electricity. When we all know that there is no activity at all on the tourism front. So how can they do it? And another thing I want to say is that there has to be some sort of a coordination between the departments, tourism department or power department, so that people understand the plight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have also approached the Assam government, isn't it? You have submitted a memorandum to the government of Assam.
Yes.
To whom actually?
Actually, we did it. It was addressed to the Chief Minister of Assam. But through our chairman, BTDC.
Okay, so you have approached the government of Assam. Let me bring in Mr. Pranab Sarkar. Mr. Pranab Sarkar, now I want you to focus on northeast of India. A verdant place. A lot of people come for its organic beauty, and wildlife. Now, there are only 25, as I have said in the beginning, there are only 25 COVID positive cases in the 8 states as of now, and in a population of 45 million. Now, can you do something in a region like this, or even that is going to be difficult? Region specific. Can we have a region specific plan?
Actually, at the present, even the state borders are closed. And it is not possible immediately to start anything until the lockdown is over. The situation changes and state governments come out with a welcome policy that we are open. Then only tourism can be looked at in a different way. Maybe the motorable road and the short distance tourism may start to begin with. not the airline, not the railways. So by road, short distance tourism may start keeping the social distances among the tourists. They may start, FIT tourism may start immediately, but it is all depend on how welcoming and how much assurance are given by the state governments, which is very important because it is not only the medical aspect but also the safety and security of the tourists who are coming to your state should be safe and there is no COVID for them. Therefore, it is very important, and also the hotels, the accommodation and the transportation all need to be in a sanitized fashion so that they get confidence to move around and come for the beauty of the state. And I'm sure the kind of beauty and the greenery and the vegetation you have, most of the people are looking forward to visit Northeast.
I'm coming to
they
you.
will pick up very fast.
Yeah, Mr.
Sure,
Pranab
I'm about
Sarkar.
this.
Mr. Pranab Sarkar, I'm coming to you, Larsing. You know, sanitization is a very integral part of a pandemic like this. Now,
Yes.
do you think the hotel and other tourism industry is will be able to sanitize according to medical standards? Do you think that will require monitoring at least in the beginning for people to feel safe?
Yes, what I understand from the
No,
Ministry of
absolutely. In
Health
fact, it's going
that
to
they
be
are
a
coming out with the
prerequisite for
No, I'll come to
standardization
you.
of the
Larsing, just let Pranab
and
Sarkar
the
speak.
public areas to sanitize, and they have to follow that rule. So it will be a standard regulations and rules for all over India. So I'm sure they will follow that.
Okay, yes, Larsing, you were saying something. Larsing, yes.
No, I said definitely post-COVID, the credibility of an organization or hotel is going to depend on how they maintain their health protocols and hygiene standards. And in fact, the focus for guests from real, when a guest looks at a hotel, pre-COVID it could be for various reasons, but post-COVID it could actually, health could be the first criteria. So therefore it would be in the interest of every organization, every hotel to ensure that they maintain the best and safest standards of health protocol. And I think that's a fundamental responsibility anyway for every hotelier going forward.
So at the end of the day, we are stuck. Trideep Sharma, we are basically stuck at the end of the day. We find that we'll not be able to move forward as quickly as we like. Trideep.
I don't look like. It doesn't look like.
It
Mr.
doesn't.
Wasbir, my only point is, in whole of Northeast, we have just couple of districts which are red. The entire Northeast otherwise is green. Can we not open up within the Northeast?
Can we not open up within the Northeast, Sanjay Thakur?
Yeah, that was playing on my mind too. In fact, given the reality, and of course, we need to have social distancing and all that. But I think.
But it's easier said than done, isn't it? Easier said than done.
Of course, yes. But in a staggered manner, maybe from Guwahati to Shillong, maybe, Lasing, or to maybe Kaziranga, from Kaziranga to Jorhat.
But
there are so many other things to see in the
true.
Northeast.
But first of all, as Mr. Pranab Sarkar said, the governments in these, even let's talk about the Northeast, the governments within the Northeast must first of all feel comfortable to let their borders reopen, isn't it, Ranjit?
Yeah, that is true. But within the state itself, we have many lesser known destinations which can be promoted very well because our own people have not seen many of these destinations themselves. Yes. So this is a good opportunity. If we can showcase those lesser known destinations, there are so many in Kolyabor subdivision itself.
Yeah, but Trideep, even to do that, I think we cannot start in the next 1 or 2 months, isn't it? Even if we have to be much more comfortable than what we are today.
I think so. It will take at least maybe a month.
But again,
We have to keep patience for at least a month. But then the whole of Northeast, excepting 2 states, are already free of active cases. It's only in one district of Assam that is red.
yes, but
I think we should take a calculated risk. and make a balance between life and livelihood.
True.
Till now, livelihood has been
Yes,
ignored.
Pranab Sarkar, you want to say something? Pranab Sarkar, yes?
Yes, I want to add on one more thing here, that unless the economic activity starts and disposable income comes in hand, tourism will take a long time to start. So this is very, very important, that today's date economic activities are not in a right shape, and once the economic activity starts, people start earning and they have some disposable income, they will start traveling. That is one of the key issue for tourism.
Unless you have disposable income, you are in any case not going to travel. So all these discussions are not necessary, Mr. Pranab Sarkar. That's what you are saying.
No, I'm saying the economic activities has to start first. Once
Absolutely.
economic activities are start in place, people are working, they are earning, then the disposable income will come and they will travel. So that is how it is. Today's scenario is very different, because people are just using their saved, earned money, and then they are going ahead, because at this scenario nobody is going to travel under the circumstances. The circumstances improves, economic activities start moving, and then the earnings start, then tourism will start. Because other than the disposable income, tourism may not take place, because pleasure is the last thing. First is the necessity. Therefore they will take the necessity first, then the pleasure.
Necessity first, survival and necessity, and then pleasure. Larsing Ming, your final comments. The tourism industry was the first to hit and perhaps maybe the last to recover. Your final comments. Larsing.
So yes, Wasbir. So to add to that, I think what is important now is what we've discussed. First is how to survival. Survival is the most important thing as of now. So government needs to look at how it can come in to help this industry which is in distress. Thereafter, the second thing is how do we start opening up slowly. So as discussed already, I think the idea of regional tourism opening first, intra-regional, interstate, that means the Northeast as one can open up first. If we can, eradicate COVID, we've got only 25 cases. Hopefully in a month and a half, if we can make that zero, then maybe we can promote tourism, travel from one state to the other within the Northeast. And then in the long run, I think one great advantage, it's going to take a while, but one great advantage is that India has approximately 22 million outbound tourists every year. That means every year there are over 22 million people who travel outside the country. Now, post-COVID, that number is going to drop drastically. So there is a huge opportunity lying for the region that if we can somehow or the other survive these few months, the next 12 months, post-COVID, once things are back to normal, I think there's a huge window of opportunity for the Northeast because we have beautiful nature, environment.
Yeah,
we're already known for having a great ecosystem.
Correct.
And with lesser number of cases, I think it could be a huge window of opportunity. But until then, yes, we all need to hang on and somehow survive.
We have to somehow survive. Tridip Sharma, final comments. Tridip Sharma.
It doesn't look like we have any solution. We have to sit low and wait for our time to come back. But till then, unfortunately, the lack of employees who are dependent on us also will be doomed. That is very unfortunate.
All right. Sanjay Thakur, final comments.
See, just want to, before, giving my final comments, I just want to tell you that, in the Northeast alone, there are more than 200 registered tour operators. Okay? And these tour operators, have a loss of about 500 to 600 crores in this till now.
Yeah.
So this is a huge loss, and going forward, I think
it's tough.
It is very tough. And
so we are coming back to the same thing. You want a government bailout?
No. See, okay, fine. That we have discussed. Now, what I want to say
very
is
quickly,
there has to be a staggered opening up of the north, at least this northeastern region, and then we must have this. In one voice, we must say that the Northeast has been very, very safe as far as this COVID-19 is concerned, and so that
Yes,
we
now
can,
the other argument, I get your point, but the other argument will be that we are safe because of our strict monitoring and strict conditions that the government is enforcing, like a lockdown that is being enforced very, very strictly by the government, and the people are also cooperating. That will be the argument that is the reason why we are low. So to counter that argument is tough, but we have to do something about it. Ranjit Das, your final comments.
Yeah. Now, there is a general consensus that once the recovery starts, the domestic tourism will start moving. But as Mr. Sarkar has said, there will be economic reasons also. So here I would like to suggest, like, can we not extend the LTC that the central government employees are eligible for 2 more years, so that at least the central government employees start traveling to Northeast, because we have about more than 48.
No, what do you mean by LTC extension of 2 years? LTC is every year you get an LTC, isn't
the
it?
present one of the 7th Pay Commission is up till the September of 2020.
After that, there will be no LTC.
No,
it will be
I mean,
abolished.
it has to be extended. It has to be extended.
As it stands now, it is to be abolished, is it?
No, it has to be extended for 2 more years.
Yeah, but as of now, it is going to be abolished in September, this whole LTC business.
Yeah.
Okay. So you are asking that it should be extended for another 2 years.
So that those 48 lakhs, I mean, if a fraction of them also come to Northeast or Assam, I mean, that will be a huge movement. And then another thing I want to add here is, since the travelers now, post-COVID, will be more price sensitive, I think we need to have good airfare for traveling to Northeast, like the Udan scheme can be extended to Northeast in a good way, so that we get better prices for traveling to Northeast.
Okay. Mr. Pranav Sarkar, last word to you.
Yes, I will only say that do not lose heart. Northeast will be the first to start the tourism as soon as things are better, and we are all fighters and will keep fighting. And with this good note, I wish you all the best and good luck for post-COVID tourism. It is going to change our life and we are all going to survive. Thank you very much.
Nice to hear that from the president of the Indian Association of Tour Operators, Pranav Sarkar, saying that Northeast will be the first to start. Let's hope for the best. But yes, there is no need to lose heart. We have to have a bailout package, no doubt about that. But we have to be cautious and cannot throw caution to the winds. And even despite the limitations, I think we have to look for a window of opportunity. And for that, the government will have to gear up and come up with innovative ideas to bail out the tourism industry, not just in the Northeast, but perhaps in the entire country. On that note, I thank all my panelists for participating in the show and the viewers for watching the program. Good night and goodbye.
Northeast Tonight, brought to you by Oil India Limited, conquering newer horizons.